Hi scientists! Today we're going to talk about classification of organisms, which will include scientific names and cladograms. Our big idea for this lesson is that classifying organisms helps us understand the relationships between them. One way that we organize organisms is through Linnean classification. This is a system that scientists use to organize organisms into groups with biological meaning, or based on their characteristics and their genetics. The Linnean classification system includes groups that are called kingdoms, phylums, classes, orders, families, genuses, and species. Through each of these groups, we go from a large group to a smaller group, and the organisms are more closely related the farther down we go. So let's look at an example. One kingdom that we have is Animalia, and this kingdom includes everything that's an animal. So I have some examples down here: brown bears, polar bears, rabbits, starfish, frogs, foxes, and pandas. All of these are animals. They are in kingdom Animalia. Next, our phylum is Chordata. This is everything that has a spinal cord. So we have all of our same animals in this group, but we lose starfish, right? Starfish don't have a spinal cord. Going along with our example, then we have class. One class is Mammalia. This is everything that's a mammal. They're warm-blooded, they have hair, they feed their young with milk. And so from our group, we eliminate frogs. Frogs are not mammals. Next, we have order. Our order is Carnivora. This is everything that is a carnivore or eats meat. So here we eliminate rabbits. And in our order Carnivora, we're left with our bears and foxes. Next, we have our family, which is Ursidae. And in this one, we eliminate foxes. Foxes belong to a different family. And we're left with our 3 bears. Next, we have the genus Ursus, which is true bears. So we eliminate panda. Panda belongs to another genus. And then we're finally down to one species, which is Ursus arctos, which are brown bears. And so you can see in each group we have more specific characteristics and a smaller number of organisms or species. Ursus arctos is an example of a scientific name, which is the next part of our lesson. And so to name different species or different types of organisms, scientists use binomial nomenclature. And this is where each species is given a 2-part scientific name. We always write these in italics, which you saw on the last slide, and we include the genus, which is a group of similar species. We write the genus first and capitalize the first letter, and then we write the species. So species are unique organisms, and we write this second after the genus, and we don't capitalize it. So I have 2 examples for you here. Polar bears are Ursus maritimus. They belong to the genus Ursus, and their species is maritimus. And then the example we just did, which is brown bears, so the genus is Ursus again, and the species is Arctos. And you can see the italicized font, and then only the genus name is capitalized. When we're diagramming how species are related, we use something called a cladogram. And so a cladogram is a diagram that links organisms together by showing evolutionary changes. So we're thinking about common ancestors here. I have an example of a cladogram, and we'll go through some of the specific parts of it. So on cladograms, you'll see nodes. I have them drawn here with a little circle, right? But they're where the lines intersect. And this is a point where 2 groups branched off from each other. And it represents the last point that the organism shared a common ancestor. So the node that I have highlighted represents a common ancestor of primates, rodents, rabbits, crocodiles, and birds. So once upon a time, a long time ago, all of those organisms were related. They all shared a common ancestor. We also talk about clades. And this includes the common ancestor and all the groups that have descended from that ancestor. So here we have a clade, a kind of group that includes primates, rodents, rabbits, crocodiles, and birds. The reason that we know that all these organisms belong together in a group is because they have a particular shared characteristic. In this case, it's that all of these animals have an amniotic egg. And so we call that the derived character. It's a trait shared by all the members of that clade and only members of that clade. So sharks, ray fin fish, and amphibians do reproduce with eggs, but not amniotic eggs. And so primates, rodents, rabbits, crocodiles, and birds are the only organisms on this clade. And their common ancestor, which no longer exists, so is not represented, that have amniotic eggs. Let's look quickly at one more example. Here, my derived character is a shelled egg. So the only animals on this cladogram who have shelled eggs are crocodiles and birds. So my clade would be a group that includes crocodiles, birds, and their common ancestor, right? The first organism that had a shelled egg from which both crocodiles and birds evolved. Okay, we'll talk more about this in class. We'll have more practice and we'll learn how to make our own cladograms. But if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.